Seriously, look, big open space right here. Come. Be seated. Come on. Really? Yes, come up, sit up here. Here's a chair right over here for somebody.
Do any of you want to sit? My sister knows that.
Hi. Hi. Not in the middle though, okay?
That's his catwalk.
Just leave the middle open, so if somebody scares me, I can run out quick, okay? Can you please leave that right there? Thank you.
Right here.
What?
You're the one about this guy right here.
My name's Al. Come on, you can't be mad at me.
What?
My name's Al.
Is it really?
Short for Alex, but still.
You mean like Alex Louis Armstrong?
Well, actually, I'm not.
I'm about to tear up.
You have too much hair for him. Behold my beautiful long-haired alchemy! Come on in, guys. See, I knew this was gonna happen. I hate being right all the time. It's hard being right all the time. Come on in, yay! Hey, come up here and sit in this. You can come sit up here in this beautiful area. Pretend it's a picnic without any picnic or food. Hey, look right there. Yay, hi! You need to get some food.
Hey, who's alive?
What?
Who's alive?
What? Oh, you're alive. Hughes, you big faker. Okay, I think it's probably 1:32. It's time to start. Hi, guys. I am so happy to be here. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm really glad because that you're early. Because if any of you that have ever gone to conventions, as you know, it's going to get really busy and crazy tomorrow. And I think they mistakenly put me in a room about the same size tomorrow, which is not a great idea. So I think we're going to work on finding a bigger room tomorrow, and I hope you'll all be there. Because we're not going to have anywhere near enough time right now to talk about everything we want to talk about. So, disappointed are you? So let's get started. First of all, let me just tell you kind of what I'm working on right now. I'm gonna give you a list that I made because I can never keep track of everything. So I wrote this list, and whenever we do Q&As, somebody invariably says, "What are you working on right now?" So this is what I'm working on right now. You will probably not have heard of many of these, which is fine. You know, there's lots of anime out there, and some are more well-known than others. Unbreakable Machine Doll. Exactly. Space Dandy. Carnival. Tokyo Raven. Maji. Sailor Moon. Rock Lee. Oh my gosh, you seen Rock Lee? Haven't? Okay, Rock Lee and his friends. Okay, any Naruto fans here? Okay, you guys, you have to see Rock Lee. It's so freaking funny. It's like all the Naruto characters, but they're chibis. And it's all kind of wacky hijinks and like, you know, messing with each other and stuff. And I get to play Orochimaru, which I love. Where'd I leave off? Rock Lee. Free? I love Free. Brothers Conflict? Oh my gosh, you have to see Brothers Conflict. It's about all these brothers that live in this house with their one stepsister. Right? I mean, that happens all the time, right?
Yeah, right.
And my character's the biggest jerk ever. Oh my gosh. Actually, the word I usually use is that it rhymes with my name and starts with a D, but it's just the most accurate term. I mean, it's just the most descriptive term. Anyway, let's see, where did I leave off? Brothers Conflict. Durarara? Brekabadru? Heroic Legend of Arslan? I love you. Yay, the one person that got it. Rage of Bahamut, Show by Rock, Ruby. Oh my gosh. gosh, I'm loving Ruby so much. Lord Marksman of Venatus, Ladybug. Yay. God Eater, it's a video game. Battle Battalions, it's a video game. Escaflowne, any old schoolers in here? Yeah, we're redubbing Escaflowne, and what's really cool is that I play this character whose name I don't remember, but he has a brother. And guess who plays my brother? Aaron Dismuke, who played Alphonse, my brother, in Full Metal. So that's kind of fun. Of course, he doesn't sound like brother anymore. He's like, brother. That's what he sounds like. Whatever you say, Al. Just don't step on me. World of Winx, Tonari, Utaware, Anti-Gang, Aldnoah Zero, Pillars of Eternity, which is a video game. Oh, I can't tell you that one yet. Oh, that was close. I almost gave it away. I can't. I can't. I'll get in big trouble. Let's just say that it's a big show, and I'm very excited to finally be a part of it. How about that? Strike Witches, Garo, Charlotte, Rio Rainbow, Charger Girl Judah-chan, World of Warcraft, Asterix War, oh, Star Trek Online. Okay, you guys, I know that you know what a big Star Trek fan I am, right? You know that that's my thing. But now, what you may not know is that my fan series, my web series, Star Trek Continues, is just a fan series. It's a passion project. It's not a licensed official Star Trek thing. It's just my love letter to Star Trek. So you can imagine that now that I'm getting to play a role in Star Trek Online is an official licensed CBS property. So finally, after all of these years, I'm actually getting to be a part of official Star Trek, which is, as you can imagine, a thrill for the 12-year-old Vic Mignogna inside. Let's see, I just said that. Mobile Legends, Skip Beat. You guys know about Skip Beat? Loving it, loving it.
Who are you, Skip Beat?
I have no idea. You're supposed to know that. I can't remember. You hear all these ones I'm working on? I don't remember all of the names of any of them.
Wait, Skip Beat's having a second season then? Or is it
I don't know. I know nothing.
Skip Beat has been licensed or relicensed for the first time in the U.S. Pied Piper recently acquired the rights for it. They did a Kickstarter for it.
Yeah, and
part of the stretch goals was for the dubbing of Skip Beat, which has never happened before.
it's happening now. I'm very excited, and I wrote some of the songs for it. 7 Nights. Oh, there's another one I'm not allowed to talk about yet. But I'm excited. Let's see. Okay. Also, right after this panel, there's going to be a game show, and then I'm going to have an autograph session, and I want you guys to come so I can meet you in person, all of you. And just so you know, a lot of you wrote me and asked me if I was going to be bringing any of my music CDs. A lot of you may know, many of you may not know, that I've been writing and producing music twice as long as I've been voice acting. And I have 6 different music CDs, really good music. I wouldn't tell you it was good if it sucked, but it is good music. And some of them have songs from Full Metal, Be an Angel, or in high school, and great music. And then there's also something else that I need to tell you about, and that is that I also have a live concert DVD. And that is, I'm very excited about it, and I'll tell you why. Not only, I did it at a big convention, and does anybody have the concert? Anybody in here have my live concert DVD? Do you really? Do you have it? Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Okay, let me tell you guys, it was shot at a convention, but it was a big convention with great cameras and lighting and a big audience, and the sound is really great. It's even got a Dolby 5.1 mix for your surround system. Great music from Full Metal, Dragon Ball Z, or in high school, Be an Angel. But there's something else on the DVD that's especially fun. Back when I was recording Full Metal Alchemist, the first one even, before Brotherhood, I was having so much fun, and being the big nerd that I am, I wanted to cosplay. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna make up a little story where a grown man can start cosplaying as an anime character. And then I started thinking, no, I mean as like Edward. Like me as Edward. So then I started thinking, you know, I don't think I've ever seen any voice actors like cosplay as their characters. So I asked some of the other voice actors in Fullmetal if they wanted to do this. And they're like, yeah, we would love that. So everybody made their own costumes. And we got together one weekend in Houston, Texas, where I was living, and we shot something called Fullmetal Fantasy. And in a nutshell, voice actors cosplaying as their characters from Fullmetal Alchemist. So just imagine that. That's all you need to do is really imagine that. And it's never been available anywhere. The only time I ever, sorry? The only time anyone's ever been able to see it is if I show it at a convention or in a concert. See the connection? So as I was making this live concert DVD, what I normally do in a concert is I'll be doing a bunch of songs and stuff. We'll do stuff with the audience. We'll have a lot of fun. And then we'll turn out all the lights and we'll play Fullmetal Fantasy. And then I'll come out after Fullmetal Fantasy and I'll sit down at the piano and I'll play and sing and perform the Brothers song live from Fullmetal. You guys know that song, right? So as I was putting this DVD together, I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity to make Fullmetal Fantasy available to the fans for the first time, because it's never been available anywhere. I kind of kept it just for convention screenings. So Fullmetal Fantasy is on the concert DVD, along with a lot of great music, great video, and I'll have that at the autograph session. So if you'd like to get one and get it signed, I'd love for you to have it. I think you'll really enjoy it, along with all the other music. Let's see, what else? How many of you follow me on Twitter? Not nearly enough. Okay? Do you follow me? Really? What's your name? I'm sending you a message right now. Let's see.
Lucky.
Let's see. What is it? Hi, emo meme. Emo meme actual. What a great name. Hi, emo meme actual! Exclamation point. You're sitting right here, and I heart you. Boom. So follow me on Twitter, just at Vic Mignogna. And also, how many of you know about my Star Trek production? Not nearly enough of you. I'm so glad you're in this room because it's time to get edumacated. When I was a little boy, I absolutely ate, slept, and breathed the original series of Star Trek back in the late 60s. Yes, I am that old. And I was obsessed. My mother, I drove her insane. She used to call it Star Trash. Because she hated it so much because I was obsessed. You have no idea. Like, pick any obsession and multiply it by 3. I would lock myself in my room for hours and hours and hours and days and build models and make things. And I would sit every day and watch the show at 5 o'clock on a 19-inch black and white television. And then I would sit there with duct tape and balsa wood and glue and paper and scissors and try to make communicators and phasers. Got my mom to teach me to use her sewing machine so I could make my own uniforms because she hated it so much she wouldn't make them for me. And went to Star Trek conventions. Sound familiar? And just like you guys come to anime conventions. So fast forward many decades, and about 3 years ago I started a web series. It's called Star Trek Continues, and you need to check it out. If for no other reason than to get a full dose of my nerddom, of just how obsessed I was. I've got there's several voice actors. Chuck Huber, who's here this weekend, plays Dr. McCoy in the series. My dear annoying little brother, Todd Habercorn, plays Mr. Spock. and I'm fulfilling my childhood dream of playing Captain Kirk. And we have 6 episodes online, all free to watch. We don't charge any money for anything. It's all a labor of love. But I got to tell you guys, we've recreated the entire soundstage from the original series, all of it. We have a studio in Georgia, 18,000 square foot studio, and we've got all of the sets rebuilt, and the lighting and the camera work and the music and the sound design and the makeup and the stories and the special effects. Everything is exactly like a continuation of the original series if it had not been canceled, as it was in the 3rd season. So go home and check it out, okay? StarTrekContinues.com is all you have to remember. And everything's free to watch. Tell your friends. Even if you don't like Star Trek, I'll bet your dad does, or your uncle, or or your school teachers, or your neighbors, or somebody you know. And like us on Facebook. Go to our Facebook page and like us. Just push of a button, and I think you'll really enjoy it. In fact, let me personally invite you to a screening of one of our episodes this evening. It's in the program. I think it's at 7. I want you guys to come. Even if you're not a big Star Trek fan, I think you'll love it. This is our latest episode, episode 6, and it's a beautiful episode. It's got a wonderful theme, and it's a lot of fun. And I think it's next door. So let's see if we can pack that room out and watch Star Trek together, okay? Is that me or is that somebody else? Is that you? Is that you, emo meme actual? Okay, let's see, is there anything else I need to tell you about? Are there any Buul Rangers in the room? Oh my, that's not a good sign. Huh? My fan club, my online fan club is called the Buul Rangers. Now who knows what Buul is? That's the little town that Ed and Al come from, right? So join us. We have like 23,000 members worldwide. It's free to join. Once again, magic word, free. Free. Not the swimming show. And you will instantaneously have 23,000 friends around the world that love the things you love, and it's really a fun group of people that all get together because they have the same interests. So, let's see what else. Anything else I need to tell you? I don't think so. I was just at Funimation yesterday recording. I went from LA to Funimation yesterday and spent all day recording a few shows, and happy to be here with you. So let's spend the next bit of time here chatting about anything you want to talk about. And we'll chat for a while before the autograph session, and it's going to be fun. Yes?
Okay. My question is, there have been some rumors lately about Funimation not doing the greatest. And I was just wondering if you've heard anything from the staff, if you've heard anything about...
No, in fact, you're saying that. Did you notice the look on my face? That was genuine. I have never heard that. I have not heard that at all from anybody.
Their releases have been going really downhill lately.
I don't know anything about the releases, actually. I mean, I go and do my thing, you know what I mean? And then I have no idea what happens after that. I don't keep track of that much. I do know that they're trying their best to, with the broadcast dubs,
Yeah.
they're trying their best, because one of the biggest complaints that fans have, and it's really not a great complaint, is that they don't like having to wait so long after a show is released in Japan to be able to see it dubbed. Well, that's called patience, and we need to learn some of it, everybody. Okay? I don't know. I feel really bad. Now I'm going to sound like a grandpa. Here it comes. Ready? I feel really bad that we're in this generation where you got to have it right now. It's got to be instantaneous. That's just not practical, guys. Okay? Try to grasp that. This stuff isn't cranked out of a little Play-Doh fun factory. It's there are a lot of things that take a lot of work to make. They're very involved to produce. And I want it now. Sorry, I appreciate that you want it now. So do I. But we just all need to learn a little patience. For 6,000 years before you guys, people had to be more patient because things came out, took a long time. And we're very blessed right now that in this day and age, we're so used to immediate, I need something, I got it. I need something, I got it. Info, boom. Cell phone. Call my friend, boom. Set up a rental, boom. Buy a this, boom. I mean, immediate. But not everything works that way. And I know that Funimation is trying very hard. I mean, like, it's really killing them. I don't mean killing their business, I mean exhausting them.
I feel like they've been taking on too much.
Yeah, because they're trying their best to accommodate the impatient fans. And it's hard. One of the reasons, I'll tell you something, not that how it impacts me personally means anything, but I don't get cast in a lot of things at Funimation right now. Do you know why? Because I don't live in Dallas. Do you know why that's a problem? Because with the broadcast dubs, they need to get them out immediately, like in a week. And that's insane. I mean, to write scripts, schedule actors, book studio time, record all of the actors, mix the whole episode, press all the discs, do all the artwork, print the artwork, package all the, I mean, it's not easy. There's a lot, it's hard. It's really kind of impractical, but they're trying their best because they love you guys and they want the fans to get what they want. But it's really hard. And one of the reasons why a lot of the Funimation actors that now live elsewhere aren't getting the chance to work on a lot of Funimation shows is because the majority of what they're doing right now are these broadcast dubs. And they have such a quick turnaround that they need to cast people that live 5 minutes from the studio, you know what I mean? They need to cast people that can be there that quick and get it done. And unfortunately, you know, I'm in Los Angeles, and even if I were to buy a plane ticket, the soonest I might be able to get there is tomorrow, and it'll cost me $600. And what if I have a recording session tomorrow in LA? You know what I mean? Then I can't get there till the next day, and then it becomes impossible. So, and the same with, you know, Todd or Travis or Laura or Troy or any of the other number of Funimation actors that live in LA. So I've not heard anything about them doing badly. I just know that they're working very hard to try to keep up with the demand, you know? Speaking of impatience, it reminds me of one of my favorite moments on The Simpsons. And it's a perfect representation of this mentality. Homer pulls a TV dinner out of, did you ever see this one? He pulls a TV dinner out of the freezer. Like nobody's home, he's by himself, right? He's got to make his own dinner. And he pulls this TV dinner out, this frozen TV dinner, and he's looking and reading the directions, and it says, heat for 30 seconds. Oh, but I wanted it now. Classic. Yes?
What was your favorite part about voice acting?
There are several favorite parts. I love almost everything about it except the yelling. I don't like to yell much, and it hurts. And especially as a singer, you know, I mean, you can really damage your voice. And in fact, I think I have a little bit. That's the only downside. But everything else I love. I love getting to play characters that you would not normally get cast as on camera or on stage. For instance, I love Edward Elric. But Edward Elric is 14 years old, right? Or whatever. Look at me. I mean, I'm never going to get cast to play Ed in a stage version of Fullmetal or on camera. I may get cast to play his grandfather, but not Ed. So, you know, or Broly. You know, Broly's freaking 8 feet tall, big muscle-bound guy. I'm never going to get cast to play that character if they were to do a movie live action of Broly, or any of a number of other characters. But because of voice acting, because you're not seen, you have the opportunity to play a lot of different characters. So that's a real fun thing. And it's fun as an actor to get to do things that are different, you know what I mean? And I will tell you also that one of the other things that I really love about voice acting are the fans. You guys are some of the most supportive and kind, enthusiastic people. And remember, since I was 12 years old, I was going to conventions, right? I know the sci-fi fan crowd. I was one of them, going to conventions, Star Trek conventions. And I go to all of these conventions all over the world. And a lot of them are pop culture conventions, right? So there's like Doctor Who fans, and Star Trek fans, and Battlestar Galactica fans, and comic book fans, and video game fans, and all different types of fandoms, supernatural, heroes, whatever. But I tell you what, I have found without exception that anime fans are the greatest, most enthusiastic and supportive fans out there. And I always tease the big celebrities, like the real, like the on-camera celebrities. Like, I'll always tease them because, yeah, they make more money than I do. But I always tease them like, I have the greatest, we have the great, anime fans are the greatest. Like, you guys, you're making all that money and stuff, but we have a really, really great family with anime and the anime fans. So that's another one of my favorite parts.
We don't try to find dirt on you guys.
You what?
We don't try to find dirt on you guys.
Well, you don't. Oh, there are those people that do. There are those people everywhere, sad to say. Even in the anime world, there are people that try to, they're just lonely. And they're sad and they feel insignificant. Is that one of you? Maybe? Think about it. Obviously, it's rhetorical. I'm not asking you to raise your hand or anything. But maybe there might be one in this room who kind of feels unimportant, who kind of feels like, they sit in their room, in some little town, in a little neighborhood, and nobody knows who they are, nobody cares, and they feel very unimportant. And the problem is that they so desperately want to feel important. They so desperately want to be acknowledged that they allow themselves to do stupid, mean-spirited, hateful things just to get attention. And that's sad. They don't even realize that they could irreparably damage somebody's reputation or life or relationships, all because they want somebody to notice them. It's scary. The internet is a scary place, Emo Meme Actual here could go home tonight and get on Facebook and say, Vic Mignogna grabbed my butt.
Wow.
But you could, and who could stop you? And who would know whether it happened or not? Do you see how scary that is? It's terrifying. And if somebody was sad and lonely and felt unimportant enough and was so desperate for attention that they thought, I'm gonna say something about somebody that a lot of people know just to get some attention. And I know this is not her, but if she were that desperate and she'd go home, oh my gosh, you guys, I was at this convention this weekend and I was getting an autograph for Vic, and when we were taking a picture, he slid his hand down, touched my butt, and squeezed my butt. What a pervert. And you know what? That could get picked up and spread around for thousands of people to read it, and then you know what would happen? I might not even be invited to events because somebody on a staff would read that and go, we don't want that pervert here. Now she's affecting my ability to make a living. Do you see how scary that is? With no responsibility, right? Nobody knows if it happened or not. There's no proof. Just somebody who wanted some attention, and she might not even realize it doesn't even matter to her that she just destroyed my life. In her mind, she's like, woohoo! 300 people read my post. That's what she's thinking. She's thinking, look at all the people that noticed me. Look at all the people that are paying attention to what I wrote. I feel like somebody now. See how flipped around that is? That's scary, you guys. So, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent, but what you said, about, because we don't dig up dirt on people. There are people that do in every industry. But can I encourage you guys to do something? I'm going to take this moment to encourage you to do something positive. Be a voice for good. You have just as much power to spread good as people do to spread bad. Do you know that? Do you understand that you have just as much capability to be a voice for positivity and love and encouragement and kindness? God knows our world needs it. Am I wrong? We need it. People need it now more than ever. And you know what? If these hateful people got a little more kindness and love, they might not feel so alone and, so desperate for attention. So if you ever see that kind of thing online, and I'm not even talking about me, I'm just talking about in general, try to be a voice for good. Try to step in and say something positive. You think you could do that? Yeah. Because I tell you what, there's an awful lot more of you than there are of them. And if we all decided that we were going to not allow our wonderful anime industry to be a place of hate and rumors and, and meanness and gossip and dirt, we could make sure that it wasn't, because there's an awful lot more of us. I would never want any of that to happen to any of you. So let's try to make sure it doesn't happen to people. Okay? Okay, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox now. All right, yes?
Personal, don't worry about it. But I have noticed a lot of voice actors do live in LA now. Like Travis, I watched them play Critical Role on
Sure.
Friday nights. Why did you move from Dallas to LA? Better opportunities, or?
Well, two reasons actually. One was a girl. Yeah, I'm one of those crazy, hopeless romantics. If you've ever heard any of my music, you know what I'm talking about. I met a lovely girl several years ago, actually at an anime convention in Los Angeles, the big one, Anime Expo. And I was living in Houston at the time and working at Funimation and ADV and just doing the Texas thing, and I owned a beautiful home in Houston. But as we continued dating and getting closer, it became apparent that, long distance relationships can only last for so long. And then one or the other of you needs to move, right? One or the other of you needs to close the distance and see if there's actually anything really there. So I decided that since LA was a bigger city and had probably more opportunity, I was already doing some work in LA. So whenever, I was doing Vampire Night and, Bleach, so I would go out there to record my role, and then I would just stay a few days to spend with her. So a few years ago, I decided that I was going to rent my home in Houston and move out there. It wasn't a career move. It was to be closer to her. And I mean, certainly there are more opportunities there. But I've never been one to chase opportunities like business, monetary. It's never been my motivation, for better or worse. I've never been one of those people that's like, I'm going to move here because I can make $1 million. Deeper, darker, meatier, grittier version of Fullmetal that actually has an ending. So that's good. But my answer is exactly your answer. When people ask me which one I like better, I say, well, I love them both, but I kind of have a nostalgic connection to the original.
That made me cry.
Oh my gosh. So many things about that. See, so many things in the first series made me cry. I felt such an emotional connection to that show. It's like your first love, I mean, the first time I ever met Al and Ed and Winry and all of them was the first series of Fullmetal. So anything you do after that, you may love it, but nothing could ever possibly take the place of the original, For me personally. Yeah.
I was wondering if you can do this in your Tamikis and Coach Boys.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, if they were Pokemon trainers, what would the 6 Pokemon be?
If they were Pokemon trainers?
Yeah. Tell you first though.
What? Wait a minute. I'm not familiar enough with Pokemon and Pokemon trainers and what they would say. What?
Tamaki.
What did you say, sweetie? Tamaki would what?
Go for flashy stuff.
Go for flashy stuff?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're right. Whatever you just said sounds exactly right to me.
Can you go over the rules of being host still?
Of what?
Becoming a host. As Tamaki.
The rules of becoming a host?
Yeah. Can you repeat the lines?
Oh no. You mean like the lines that he said in the show?
Yeah.
See, here's what you need to understand. Here's another good thing about voice acting. You don't have to memorize the lines. How many of you ever been in a stage play? Been in theater, like been on a play? You have to learn your lines, right? Well, guess what? You don't have to learn your lines because they're just on the script in front of you. And you just have to read them and perform them. So the downside to that is that you don't remember them. As much as I love Oran High School, that was 5-6 years ago for me. And probably 100 anime series. I've played so many roles since then. And the only lines of Tamakis that I remember are the ones that the fans ask me to say over and over again. Like, you're a hero to poor people. Long live the poor. I will drink this coffee, commoner's coffee, and what if I let you drink it from my mouth? I remember some of those, but that's just because you guys asked me to say them so many times. But I don't remember all of them. Yes.
Do you remember any lines from Pikachu and
Yeah, you just said the only one I remember. I just remember his the lucky thing. Lucky and lucky, I feel lucky. None so lucky as me. When he's dancing around. That's all I know. So when anyone ever says, "Hey, can you do a little ikaku?" I'll just get up in their ear and go, "Feeling lucky." That's all I do. So. Yes.
I know a lot of people ask you for your favorite line that you've ever done, but what was your least favorite? Whether just because it was
If I don't remember my favorite lines, how would I ever remember the ones I hated?
like the ones that gave you the most trouble or
Oh,
ones
okay.
that touched
Every once in a while, well, something that just came to mind when you said that was, every once in a while you'll have to pronounce a name. Like a 5-syllable Japanese name. But you can't say it like you're stumbling over it. You have to say it like this is somebody you've known all your life, and you just say it in the middle of a sentence. You rush right through it. And I wish I could think of one right now, but like if the director is anal enough about it, they'll be like, it's not Shinigami, it's Shinigami. Like, okay, that sounds like exactly what I just said. And I'll say, if only we could find more Shinigami. No, it's Shinigami. That's what I just said. I mean, and Shinigami is simple. That would be an easy one. I'm talking about like something that's like 5 or 6 syllables long, and it's an I. This syllable is an I, not an E, and this one's an U, not an and you got to stress this syllable and hit this syllable. Yesterday I was recording something for Garo, and I was supposed to say Makai Knights, Makai, and then Knights like Knights of the Round Table. So I was doing this older character, and I was talking about the Makai Knights. And the director's like, okay, it's Makai Knights, like the stress is on the first syllable. Makai, not Makai. So I was like, Makai Knights, Makai Knights. And she's like, okay, don't go up on Knights. It's not Makai Knights, it's Makai Knights. I'm like, okay. And that's an easy one. Like, that's easy. But sometimes the names are very difficult. And I just think, oh God, just let me get through this one time. And it's also tricky when you're the first one to say the name. Because if another actor has already come in to record and they said the name last episode, well, now all you have to do is go back and listen to the way they said it, because they've established, like the director and that actor established how to say it. And then sometimes they'll change it in the middle of the series. We're talking about Ikaku from Bleach, right? Ikaku, stress on the first syllable. Ikaku, bum bum bum, right? That's what they told me when we started the show. And then 300 episodes later, the director goes, okay, it's Ikaku now. I'm like, what? What? No, it's not. Let's just start changing. Call me Vike now instead of Vic. It's Vike. You know what I mean? Like, you can't change it now. But sure enough, they're like, yeah, the Japanese, the people that own the show, they want it to be Ikaku. So that's always interesting. That's always fun. And I know I've probably said a lot of weird things. I don't prefer to swear if I don't have to. I prefer not to use profanity if I don't have to. Now me as a person, I mean Vic, I don't typically use profanity. Get me mad enough, I probably would, but I don't usually use it. It's not part of my regular vocabulary. So when fans will come to me and go, you know, I heard that you're, you know, a Christian, and how can you said damn, and you said this, and I'm like, no, I didn't say it. Ed said it.
Get that way, Shorty.
Thank you. My point exactly. But do you see my point? I didn't say it. I was playing a character who's talked that way. Kurt Weber in Fullmetal Panic is kind of a pervert, and he talks that way. I don't talk that way. So if you have a conversation with me, you're not going to hear that kind of language. But if you have a conversation with Kurt Weber, he's probably going to say stuff like that. So that's also stuff that, you know, if I can avoid it, I do. But if it's important, like when we were recording Fullmetal Panic years ago, like the first episode, Kurt Weber, he swore all the time. Like the original script, it had him saying swear words all the time. And after about 3 lines, I said to the director, is this really necessary? And he said, well, I mean, you know, he's just that kind of a cocky guy, but if you can come up with a way to communicate his attitude without saying it, I'm fine. You don't have to say it. So I looked at the line for a minute, and I rewrote it in my mind, and then I said, okay, let me try this. And they hit record, and boop, boop, boop. And I said the line, and he's like, yeah, that works fine. And we went on. And from that point on, Kurt Weber didn't swear as much, because it was more attitude than the actual words, you know? Yes?
Me? Oh, sorry. Did you ever get a chance to record a Splash Free song?
Oh my gosh. I love you for asking that. I haven't recorded the full thing. Do you know what she's talking about, you guys? Any the free fans in here, right? Okay, Mind Music. Hold on a minute. Wait, where is it? No, not you. Library. Here we go. Let me see if it's in here. I wrote an English version to the song, the closing theme. Let's see if it's in here. Nope. Sorry. You know, da 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 na 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 na. I love the song, and I love all the harmonies and stuff. So I got the karaoke track, and then I wrote an English version of it, and I started recording it, but I just haven't had time to finish it. But I will. And I also wrote an English version to Reen's song. It's called Aquagate. And I'm gonna record that too.
Where will you be able to download it?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Whenever I have time to sleep. And I mean, my schedule is crazy right now. And I love to do it. I keep writing myself notes. Go record this. And then I'll get busy and I won't get the chance to do it. So, but keep watching for it. Because when I finish it, I'll make sure and get it out there. So You guys will be able to hear it. Hi.
Hello, what advice would you have for an aspiring voice actor?
Great question. What advice do I have for an aspiring voice actor? You know, you guys, I never planned on being a voice actor. I always chuckle a little bit when people write me and say, when did you decide you wanted to be a voice actor? Or, I didn't. I just loved acting. Ever since I was little, from my Star Trek days. I would round kids in the neighborhood up and make little Star Trek movies. I would make the kids in the neighborhood make my friends wear the Star Trek uniforms that I made. And I would make little episodes where I was Captain Kirk. 70 pounds, soaking wet, little scrawny, Vic Mignogna in my little Star Trek uniform playing Captain Kirk. But it was that made me want to go to school and try out for school plays. And then to audition for theater in town. And then get involved in church plays and productions and anything that I could do to develop my skills as an actor. So if you have any interest in voice acting, the first thing I would encourage you to do is get into acting. Acting. Not voice acting, acting. Get involved in school productions, get involved in community theater, get involved in church productions. Audition for anything you can and build your skills as an actor. Most of the voice actors I know have a huge background in theater. That's where they started. I don't even know many people. Of the 100+ voice actors that I know, I don't think I know maybe 2. None of them started out going, I want to be a voice actor. No, they just wanted to be an actor. And somebody gave them an opportunity at some point to act with their voice. It's still acting, it's still performing, it's still playing a role. And so I would encourage you to get as much experience as you can as an actor. A lot of people can imitate funny characters, they can make funny voices or imitate Gollum or Yoda or Krusty the Clown or any number of characters, but that's not what voice acting is about. It's not about imitating somebody that's already doing something. It's about playing the character honestly and believably. For instance, the difference between Kurtz Weber and Tamaki Suo is not in the voice, it's in the attitude, right? Kurtz Weber is just a little more cocky, smartass, right? And Tamaki is just smoother, a little more romantic. It's the same voice, it's attitude, and that's acting. That's not changing your voice. The second thing is that you need to be where that kind of work is done. I know that's the more disappointing part of the equation, but as I've said 1 billion times, and this will be 1 billion number 1, if I wanted to be a country singer, I'd move to Nashville, country music capital of the world, right? If I wanted to do certain things, I would go to the places where those kind of opportunities are most prevalent. Voice acting is a very specific thing. It does not happen everywhere. It happens in 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8 major cities around the world. And so you need to be where those opportunities are. You could be the most gifted, talented, natural voice actor God ever created. And if you live in Pikeville, Kentucky, your odds of getting voice acting opportunities are pretty slim, right? So those are the real 2 things. Those are the only 2 things. There are only 2 things, but they're very big things. Get as much experience as you can as an actor, and then you have to be where that kind of work is done. Yes, sir?
On that note, I know that you were a worship leader for a while.
Yeah.
You said you weren't pursuing voice acting, so how did all that start?
You know what? How it started? Quite ironically, I was directing a video production in Houston, Texas. And I was editing the video at a company in Houston called The Editing Company, where you basically take video to edit, right? And the guy that was running the equipment, right? The guy that was pushing all the buttons, his name was John Grimion. Does that name sound familiar to any of you? Gremillion. he's been in as many animes as I have. He was working as a voice actor for ADV in Houston. And we were working on this video production that I had hired this company to work with me on. And one afternoon, he and I are sitting in the editing room, and he's editing, and I'm telling him, okay, grab this shot, and let's put it next to this one. And we're having a good time and chatting, and he says to me, you have a lot of acting experience, don't you? And I said, yeah, I've been doing theater, some on-camera stuff, and musicals and stage since I was 12. And he said, you ought to go and audition for this place in town. They buy these Japanese animated shows and they dub them into English, and they're looking for actors. And I was like, really? That sounds fun. You like Speed Racer? I mean, I loved Speed Racer when I was a little kid. My friends and I would run around imitating Speed Racer characters. But it never even occurred to me that, number one, to pursue voice acting, but number two, that there would be a company in Houston, Texas that dubbed anime. So he gave me the phone number because he was working there. He was doing voice work for them. I called them and I said, John Grimion referred me. So they set me up with an audition and I went in, and at the time ADV would fit in this room. Like it was just a little studio of anime fans who loved anime and wanted to make it available in English. And they had purchased a couple of licenses to a couple of shows, and I went and auditioned, and I got cast as Vega in Street Fighter 2.
Oh, wow.
Movie or show?
I don't even know. Honestly, it was 17, 18 years ago. And I went in and I recorded this character, and I thought, wow, that was cool, that was fun. And now I'm gonna go back to my life. I was writing music professionally for ad agencies, and I was producing video stuff and doing a bunch of different things. And it was just, I thought it was just a one-time thing, just some one weird little thing that I did one time. Yeah, I voiced a character, some Japanese thing. I thought that was really the only time I would do it. Next thing you know, a few weeks went by and ADV called me and they said, hey, we've got another show, you wanna come be in it? I was like, okay. And I went and played a role in some other show. I can't even remember. What was it? I can't remember. But then another show, and another, and another, and another. So while I was doing music professionally and video professionally, I was doing voice acting for ADV. I didn't even know what they did with this stuff. I mean, do they sell it? Is it in a store? Is it online? I didn't even know. I just went in and recorded my role and left. And then one day, somebody said to me, Monica Real, anybody know who Monica is? Yep. Monica Real, who started at the same time that I did, said to me one day, hey, you want to go to an anime convention? And I was like, what? A what? And she said, an anime convention. Like, you know, they have conventions and fans of anime that we do. I'm like, they have conventions for this stuff? And I immediately thought, I went to Star Trek conventions when I was a little kid, but I didn't even know there were conventions for anime. And Monica said, yeah, I was invited to one, and Chris Patton was invited to one. You want to go? I'm like, okay. And I went and attended my first convention. And I was absolutely blown away. I was like, oh my God, this is my character and it's on a poster. Hey, I played that guy. He's a wall scroll and a little action figure. I was plushy. I was like, I couldn't believe that there were all of these things that I just couldn't believe it. And anime was growing and growing. More and more people were doing it. Unbeknownst to me, there was a company 4 hours north of Houston called Funimation that was doing Dragon Ball Z. Now, I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z. I didn't know what it was. And one day I was at a convention with a representative from Funimation. And we hit it off, and the next week after we got back from the convention, this Funimation guy called me and said, hey, you want to come be in Dragon Ball Z? I was like, sure. What's Dragon Ball Z? And so I flew up to Dallas and I played Broly. And then they cast me in Yu Yu Hakusho. And then Case Closed. Spiral. What was that other show? Anyway, lots of stuff. So I'm working at ADV in Houston, and now I'm working at Funimation in Dallas. And the anime is growing and growing. Next thing you know, Funimation gets the license to Fullmetal Alchemist. And the guy that was directing at the time said, I want you to come and audition for this show. It's called Fullmetal Alchemist. And I'm like, is it like Full Metal Panic? And he goes, no. So I went up to Funimation and I auditioned. I got cast. Kept doing more conventions. Anime kept growing. Now I'm working. And then I met people from studios in Los Angeles. They're like, hey, you want to come and be in such and such? I'm like, okay. Then I met people from studios in New York. And they're like, hey, you want to come be in Pokemon? Okay. This is why I give God all the credit. Do you see how crazy this happened to me? I didn't plan it. I didn't strategize it. I didn't like, I'm gonna make a demo and I'm gonna send it out to 100 studios and I'm gonna go knocking on doors and I'm gonna make phone calls and I'm gonna submit my resume. A door opened, I stepped in, I had no idea what was on the other side, and now 17 years later, I've done over 300 different anime series and video games, and I feel so enormously blessed and humbled and grateful that I get to do what I do. Because none of us ever imagined that it would ever grow into the industry that it has. I was just fortunate enough to get in on the ground floor when it was still pretty small. It's a lot harder now because a lot more people want to get into it. It's become a much bigger business, you know. But that's how I started. I mean, it was quite by random. And I'll tell you this too, a lot of people that I know, especially from my era, got into it exactly the same way. They knew somebody that was already doing it, like a theater buddy. How did Monica Rial get into it? How did Greg Ayers get into it? How did Chris Patton get into it? Because they were working with a guy at a local community theater in Houston who was voice acting at ADV. And he said, hey, Monica, Chris, Greg, you should audition. This place, they're looking for actors. So they went and auditioned. That's how most of those people got into it, because they knew somebody that was already doing it. But the key is, back to this lovely lady's question down here, they were all acting. We had all spent years as actors in stage plays and on film things or whatever, so that when the door opened and the opportunity to voice act opened, we had some training. You know what I mean? We knew what it was to play a character. Question? Anybody? How are we doing on time?
It's about 2:30.
1:30, 2:50. I think we're supposed to be done. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know the video game Overwatch?
Overwatch.
It's new.
I don't. Is it good?
It's so good.
Is it really?
You would want to voice it.
Really?
Yeah.
Darn it. Wow, really? Overwatch. Okay. I know the people from Blizzard from World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah.
So I think I'll send myself a note right now, just because you said that. Hold on one second. Overwatch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write them and see what they say. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I shouldn't have looked at my phone. New stuff happening. Yes, my dear.
Do you cosplay at the conventions you go to?
I don't, not normally. I mean, I've done a lot of conventions. I've cosplayed before. Like, I have cosplayed at conventions. There are pictures out there. No, can't get rid of them. They're out there. I've cosplayed, I mean, if you see Fullmetal Fantasy, you'll see me in my full Ed regalia. But I've cosplayed as Phi from Tsubasa.
Nice.
I cosplayed as,
Scott McNeil.
wow, there's old school. Yeah, I cosplayed as another voice actor. I cosplayed as Cloud from Final Fantasy. I cosplayed as Tamaki. I've cosplayed as... I've gone to Star Wars conventions, cosplaying as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I even do my beard and everything. It's fun. And I have these great Jedi robes and stuff. And then I cosplayed as a TIE fighter pilot. What else? I've cosplayed, oh my gosh, at A-Kon in Dallas, I cosplayed as Wolverine. Yeah. And even a few months ago, one of my friends that's the wardrobe supervisor for Star Trek Continues made me a sweatshirt like Reen wears. There it is! Man, you're quick! And they brought a there it is. I was looking it up and she just beat me to it. And we were down at the studio working and she brought this hoodie and she brought a red wig and I cosplayed. I did a little cosplay photo shoot. What? No, I wasn't at a convention. I was at the hotel and there was a swimming pool. So it seemed like the thing to do. Yes?
Okay, so I've heard from a friend that Todd Habercorn is your con husband. Is this true?
No, I'm the man in that relationship. Todd is my con wife. Let's get it right. Oh, wait, hold on one second, because I know you'd asked a question. Anybody have a question? Yeah.
What's your favorite fan interaction story to tell?
Oh, God. You guys, I've had so many amazing fan interactions. We could do a 4-hour panel on just fan interactions. And I'm not talking creepy. I'm talking really wonderful, endearing. I couldn't even begin to tell you. I've had so many wonderful experiences. In the last, maybe 10 years after Fullmetal came out. And by the way, did you know that this is the 10th anniversary? Do you realize that? 2016 is the 10th anniversary of Fullmetal. It came out in 2006. But I've had so many, since Fullmetal came out even, I have had at least 4 or 5 fans come to a convention who were amputees, who had lost a limb in an accident or due to some horrific experience, and stand there with me with tears in their eyes and tell me how they felt so blessed and so fortunate to discover Fullmetal Alchemist at a time when they were going through such a horrible experience. And I'm absolutely overwhelmed with those kind of stories, because when we make this stuff, we never imagine that there could be so many people out there that desperately needed something at that moment in their lives, and we were lucky enough to be a part of it. That's priceless to me. I can't even, hundreds. I've gotten hundreds of emails, specifically from people that say such and such that you did, or such and such that you voiced, turned me around at a really dark moment in my life, or got me through the loss of my brother, or my parents' divorce, or my cancer, or any number of heavy, heavy things. And when I started doing this, when I went and auditioned for ADV and played Vega in Street Fighter 2, never occurred to me that I would have the privilege to be a part of so many people's lives in such a huge way, I will be forever grateful for that. So many amazing fan stories. And purely from an ego standpoint, I'll tell you this. Captain Kirk was my guy. Like, that was my role model. In fact, when my parents divorced when I was 9, and that was literally the moment that I discovered Star Trek. And I can see, looking back, that the reason I was so in love with Star Trek was because my dad was gone, and I fell in love with this character, this Captain Kirk, who was strong and brave and kind and supported his friends, and you know what I mean? And he was all of these things that I wanted to be when I was a little boy. He became a father figure to me. And I actually had the privilege to look William Shatner in the face over dinner, not at a convention, but like sitting at dinner, and say, you were a father figure to me. And several times fans have come up to me in the middle of an autograph session and leaned over the table and said to me, I know you're going to understand what I mean when I say this. You're my William Shatner. Mm-hmm. And I just, you know, you couldn't put a price tag on that. Voice actors don't make a lot of money, contrary to what you might think, because it's kind of a media thing, and you know what I mean? And we're on these shows that are on TV, you shudder. If I told you actually what we get paid an hourly rate. Like McDonald's, you know what I mean? Like an hourly job. If we're recording for 3 hours, we get paid an hourly rate for 3 hours. But I gotta tell you guys something. I would not trade what I get to do for any amount of money in the world, because the privilege to be a part of people's lives in a significant way that I have had the privilege to be is worth more than any dollar amount. And when people say to me, what are your goals? Like, what do you aspire to now? Like, what's your next big goal? I have to tell you, I don't really have one. I know that probably younger voice actors their goal is to be in the next Pixar movie, you know what I mean? Or to aspire to that next level, you know what I mean? I don't have that. I don't know whether it's because of my age or because I've done as much as I've done, but I am so enormously grateful for what I've already gotten to do that I feel like it would be a pretty dick move for me to expect more. You know what I mean? To have some ambition to be more, or to be more popular, or to be bigger, or more famous, or to get cast in a live action movie, or to voice the next big anime, or to voice in the next DreamWorks feature film, or the next Miyazaki. I don't even think about those things, because I'm so enormously blown away by what I've already had the privilege to do, that I feel like it would be rather, you understand what I'm saying? It would feel to me to be kind of ungrateful that you want more.
Pretentious.
What's that?
Pretentious.
Yes, thank you. That it would be rather presumptuous and pretentious for me to want more. No. I am really, really happy and content. In fact, I'm going to let you guys in on a little something. Last year, when New Year's came around, everybody does New Year's resolutions, right? Not everybody, but some people starting this year, I want to do this, or I want to try to practice this more. I want to, whatever, fill in the blank. And when New Year's came along, a year ago, not this past January, but the year before, I thought, I want to practice being more grateful. I want to practice being more grateful. Because no matter what crap you're dealing with, you have 1,000 things to be grateful for. And you can either choose to focus on being grateful, or you can choose to focus on the couple of things that are going crappy, right? So I thought to myself, what can I do to practice being more grateful? How can I remind myself to be more grateful? Well, how do you remind yourself to do anything? I'm even going to ask you. Think about it. What would you say? How do you remind yourself to do something?
Put on your phone.
What?
Write it down.
Okay, write it down. Better yet, what?
Say it over and over in my head.
Say it over and over.
Is it put it in your phone?
Put it in your phone?
Yeah.
Well, how would you know it's in your phone? Wouldn't you just forget you put it in your phone?
Set an alarm.
Boom!
Yeah.
Set an alarm. So guess what? Every day at noon, my alarm goes off on my phone, which can be awkward if you're in a recording studio. But every day, no matter where I am, yesterday I was on an airplane and it went off. I've been in recording studios many times in the middle of recording a line of dialogue and my alarm goes off and the director's like, and I'm like, sorry, dude. And when that alarm goes off, this is what I do. And that's it. Take 10 seconds to stop what you're doing and contemplate all you have to be grateful for. That you can walk, that you can see, that you had food to eat this morning, that you have people in your life that love you,
That you woke up this morning.
that you woke up, that you went to sleep last night fully expecting that you were going to wake up, right? Did you plan that? Do you have any say in that? No, you don't. You're just assuming that your lungs are going to continue to work all night long, right? That you're going to continue to breathe and your heart's going to continue to beat and the sun's going to come up and your eyes are going to open up. You had no guarantees. You didn't build that. You didn't make it. You didn't earn it. You didn't buy it. That's gift. It's all gift. That you even have the capacity to look around and interact with your friends and see the world and build something or attend school and learn things or any number of things. We all have a million things to be grateful for on our worst day. And so I would encourage you to try that. Try my little gratitude alarm thing. It's fun. And it's kind of cool. Just every day. I've had kids that do this. And they write me a month later. And they're like, I just have to tell you, I set my gratitude alarm and I was having the crappiest day. And the alarm went off. And I stopped what I was doing and just took 10 seconds to just contemplate the good things in my life. And the whole rest of the arc of the whole rest of the day changed. And it changed my whole afternoon, my whole day. I encourage you to try it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. How are we doing? We probably have time for like one more. We do. It's 2:45. Yes, sir.
Where do you think you would be if you never went through that door for voice acting?
Wow, what a great question. Well, I've always pursued the things that I loved doing. And like my degree in college was in film. I've always loved like making film and shooting film and editing, creating like film stories. And I've been writing music and producing music since I was 17 or 18 years old. And I've written and produced hundreds of things for like TV and commercials and radio and ad agencies and my own music, and I've produced 20 or 30 records for different artists. I'm sure I would probably be doing music. I would probably be doing film production or video production work, wherever I could get it. I would still be kind of like, what's the word, like, sole proprietor, like just in self-employed, And I would be acting somewhere, somehow. I probably wouldn't be paid. but it wouldn't matter, because that's not why I would be doing it. I would be doing it because I love it. So it's just lucky that I get to do acting stuff and get paid something for it to help, cover my bills, because I would do it anyway. Don't tell the people I work for that. But I would, you know what I mean? I love what I do. And that would be something I would wish for all of you. That you find something that you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be something creative. It doesn't have to be something like fancy, high profile, famous, notoriety, sign autographs. That's overrated, you guys. I'm sure there's somebody sitting in here going, well, I'm not a voice actor. I can't act, and I can't dance, and I don't draw really great, and I can't sing. I'm not really a performer. I'm not an actor. So what? I guarantee you there are several things in your life that you like doing that you could probably make a living at. Maybe not be a millionaire, but who cares? That's overrated too, I promise. Some of the most miserable people I know have a lot of money. You know why they're miserable? I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but you know why they're miserable? Because they got everything they wanted and it didn't satisfy them. They got everything they've been told since they were young was going to make them happy, and it didn't make them happy. Now where the hell do you go? You see the problem? Now what do you do, right? Bad news. People have been telling you since you were a kid, man, rich people and fancy cars and big houses and fancy clothes and lifestyles of the rich and famous. You know what? Rich and famous people kill themselves. And you know why? Because they got everything the world told them would make them happy, and it didn't. So what I would wish for you is that you find something that you love. Doesn't matter what. Could be mowing lawns. Anybody here like to mow the grass? I do. I love it. I love making little designs in the grass. Like, I love looking behind me and seeing that short grass, little trail that I made. I love vacuuming the floor. I love making the little shark teeth on the floor. Now that's not a sexy job, but guess what? It's fun. It gives me a little bit of joy. There are people out there that love working on cars. It's not a high-profile, fancy thing, but why does it have to be? If it's something you enjoy doing. There are people out there that love taking a sequence of different shaped pipes and putting them all together and figuring out a way to make water go from over there, down through, underneath, come up here. So my point is, find those things in your life that you enjoy doing, that give you joy, and find a way to make a living paying your bills, and putting food on your table, keeping a roof over your head. Because I will tell you something that I've said many more times in the past, and if you've seen this on a panel that I've done and on some video, I apologize for sounding like a broken record, but it's true. It's just as true now as it was when I said it last time, and that is, you will be infinitely happier making $30,000 a year doing something you love than you will ever be making $300,000 a year doing something you hate. You'll hate your life. And you'll hate the fact that you got to get up tomorrow and go do it again. And you know what? Everybody in your life will be miserable. You will make them miserable because you will be so miserable. I watched my dad get up every day and go to a job he hated. And you know what? He and my mom had a horrible relationship. He was so unhappy. He made my life miserable. He made my mom's life miserable because he knew that he was doing something today that he hated, and he was going to have to do it tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and no end in sight. You know what I mean? So I want to encourage you guys. I'm sorry. I hope it's okay that we've gotten into some heavy stuff here. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah. Because this is good stuff. Just because, there's fun, light-hearted moments, but this is important stuff too. And I think it's very, very beneficial and valuable. So that's what I would hope for all of you. Okay? I love you, and we're going to continue this. You guys are going to come to my autograph session, right? Yep. Good game. Good game.
And that's something that
Well, you got.
Well, she did. No, she didn't. That was just a joke. You guys, listen. We're gonna have a little game show, but right after the game show, I'm gonna be at the autograph session. Please come down and say hello, and come to the panel tomorrow. We'll talk some more. I love you guys. Thanks for being here.